Hey, welcome back. So we have come really far creating this character. We have been modeling it from scratch, and now is the time to start the process of texturing this. We've added just some basic blend materials at the moment. So we're going to learn how to do a process what's called UV mapping. So what are UVs? What is UV mapping? It's basically Maya needs to understand that we need to know where the textures are going to go. So at the moment, these materials, they're just procedural, so they're just applied throughout the whole model. But we want to paint rosy cheeks, freckles, or you might want to paint a design on your t-shirts or whatever. So Maya needs to understand where those things are in a flat 2D space so we can paint them on. So effectively, when we UV map something, we are going to be unwrapping it. We're going to be sort of unfolding it like unwrapping paper, so it goes from 2D to a 3D space. Imagine when you see sort of a globe sort of pulled and unwrapped, and it goes flat, so you see the world map. It's that similar sort of thing. So we're going to just do some basic UVing today, so you get the idea, but it can get quite involved and complex, but we'll try and keep it simple, and yeah, it should be pretty much fun, so we can learn how to texture. So let's deal with the hardest bit first, which is the body. So I'm going to hide everything I don't need at the moment. I'm going to get rid of the t-shirt, the trousers, and just left with the body. And let's put the shoes on its own layer. Let's call this shoes layer, and we're going to hide that as well. Great, and now we have got just the body, and we're going to go back to an unsmooth view because it works better in the UV editor. So what we need to do is we need to work in the UV editor. So we go up to our menu set, under modeling, we go up to UV and UV editor, and this thing pops up here. And I'm going to dock this because I normally use two monitors, so we don't have much screen space. Let's put this in here. If you roll over, we can just pop it in here so that you guys can see it. It's going to be a bit tight, but hopefully everybody can see everything. And also it pops up this window called UV Toolkit. If you don't have that, you can get that from the menus, but this is it's pretty useful as well for when we're learning how to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the model, and as you can see at the moment, and the UVs are just a mess because we've been pulling, we started from a queue, we stitched things together, so it doesn't really have anything. So let's just give it some basic UVs just as a starting point for now. And you can project them in a planar way from the front, top, side. You can do cylindrical mapping for sort of arms and things like that. But we're going to learn how to just cut our own seams in. So if you go up to UV, and we're going to go down to planar mapping and open the option boxes. And what we want to do is, you can see from our move gizmo that Z is in the front axis as it should be. So we're just going to project something down the Z axis straight down in front of it, and you'll see what we get. Let's click project, and there we go. So you've got our first set of UVs. But if you look, it's projected this way straight in front. So everything's flat at the moment. If we go into here and right click and go UVs, you can see you can pick and see them apply in your viewport. So it's important to have everything open at the same time here. And what we're going to do is this isn't unwrapped at all at the moment. So we need to start the process of cutting and unwrapping it. So I mean, a head can be the most complicated thing to unwrap, really. So let's start there. Let's start making some cuts in. So what we want to do is right click and go to edges and start selecting our edges. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to just show you how to cut off the head. So I'm just going to double click, create an edge loop here, and you can see it's selected in here as well. You can see it a jointly working at the same time. It's really useful. So what we want to do is we want to cut this. There's a few ways of doing this. In the UV editor, go up to cut sew menu and click cut. Or you can use the short key for which is Shift X. Or you in the UV toolkit window, it's pretty useful. You can just click this button, which is cut. And now if I select off, you can see this white thick edge, and that's called a seam. That's going to be our UV seam. If I move out here and I now select, say, some UVs, I'm going to hold down the control key and go to UV shell, and I'm going to hit the W key for move. And now this is separated. The it's not separating the geometry. This is just the UV. It's just the coordinates so we can place textures. It does not affect the geometry in any way. So as you can see, we've sort of torn that off. So I'm going to undo that and keep that cut there. And we're going to add some more in because we want to unfold them. So let's start here. So normally with a head, you would take the edge from down about there, just in the forehead, and take it all the way down to the back, so we can peel it open like an orange or something, you know. And then I'm going to hit the cut key again, and you can see it's added in our seam. So if you imagine now in 3D, if this was cut off here, open here, and pull open, let's just see what we would get. So what we can do now is go to UVs, and instead of just marquee selecting them all, you can, like I say, just select a few. We've still got symmetry on at the moment. You know, you don't need that on. I'm going to turn it off just now. It does run quicker, but I will be switching back and forth. So then we're going to hold down the control key. I'm going to go to UV shell here just to select them all. Just move it away a little bit. And now I'm going to show you what it looks like unfolded. So let's just open this up a little bit here. And what we want to do is you can either go to modify and then down to unfold, or you can not the control, this time shift, go over to unfold. I just want you to check your options before you hit this, because make sure you just reset the settings. You want this on unfold 3D, you don't want it on the old legacy. It doesn't really work very well. So let's do that again. So I'm going to hold down the shift, move over to unfold and unfold. And as you can see, what it's done, I'm just going to rotate this. You can use the same movement keys as you can in this window. W for move and R for rotate, etc. And as you can see, look, what it's done is it's unfolded. It's sort of peeled it open, and now we have something to work with. You know, we could take this into Photoshop and you could paint rosy cheeks. You could do what you wanted. So we've managed to tear off the head, and so this is going to be the general process. So let's just go in here a minute, and what I want to do is I want to now I want to cut the mouth bag out in the middle. So and you can work in both now. So as well as selecting edges here and select them here, you can actually select them in your UV editor as well. I'm just going to hit the 3 key to smooth here, so we can see the one we're selecting, and I want one further in, as you can see, in the mouth. And I'm gonna create a cut here. I'm gonna go back to here, create a cut, because I want to get the mouth bag out separately. Let's have a look. Go to UVs. I'm just selecting one UV. I'm holding down the control key and going to UV shell. You've also got a tools move UV shell, and you can just click and it selects the whole shell. And I'm going to move this away, and I'm also just going to unwrap it again, unfold it to give it a little better optimization. There you go, that's the mouth bag inside. So that's going to be a completely different color, and it just gives us a little bit better to work with. And now what we're going to do is we're going to select these UVs again. You can, if you want, just select we've got the let's just go back to the normal move tool. If you want, just select these and vertices and UVs, they're not vertices, sorry, in the middle, and just unfold these, so you can get quite precise with it. So if I hold down shift, unfold, you can see it moved, it sort of optimizes. And talking of optimize, this one's pretty useful as well. If you select all the UVs and go up to tools, optimize, and we've got like a little brush, you can paint them on, or you can sometimes it does it as the whole as everything in one go. So let's have these tools, modify, because the tools is the brush optimize. So we're going to go to optimize the whole thing in one go, optimize. And you can hit the G key and you can optimize a few times just to sort of get a nice spread of those UVs. Okay, so there you go. So the head's pretty much done. Now, in reality, I would normally cut the ears off. But because we're going to be painting this, I'm trying to keep this as much in Maya or Simple Tools as possible. So really, in the industry, you would use something like Substance Painter or Mari. I mean, Substance Painter is brilliant. So what Substance Painter does is it lets you paint on the 3D model over the UV seams. So imagine if I painted here now, and then I would have to paint here. It might not match up. So on the model, you might see a seam. So if you'd painted some sort of skin details or something, it would be very hard to cross cross over the seams. What something like Substance Painter does is it allows you to paint across those seams seamlessly. So I would remove the ear and paint inside it and everything, but I'm not going to do that here because we're not going to use Substance Painter, because it will save that for some new tutorials, and we'll just use Photoshop, or you can use whatever paint program you want then. We make it a bit easier for you guys, and then at least we won't get a seam over the ear, because we want to make the inside of the ear a bit darker. So just keep that in mind. So let's now continue. Oh, but very importantly, let's save this again, and we're climbing up these versions, version 7. Okay, so now we want to just go around the model and start unwrapping everything else. And the reason this is red is because it's overlapping. It's not unfolded, or it's reversed. So blue is for okay and red is for not okay. And you'll get this as you go through and get some more practice. So let's go through and let's try and quickly sort of do this. Let's turn back on symmetry. I'm going to cut the arms off. So we want a seam there, cut. We want I want a seam going from here to here on the arm. I'm going to cut the hands off at the wrist. So let's select this loop. Just check you've got everything. Yeah, I'm going to click cut, and that's done on both sides now. So there you go. So you've got yours. Oh, it seems to have missed these edges here. It's just, for some reason, it doesn't want to select them. Let me just quickly select that and click cut. There we go. So we've got both of those arms selected now. We've got a seam going sort of, and you want to think about where you're going to hide your seams. If you do have texture details, you don't want it, right down the front of his face. That's why we do it like this. At the moment, the seam is down the back and it's hidden by the hair. So you need to think where you're going to place your seams. So that's the arms cut off, the hands cut off. We do need to create extra cut, obviously, because you can't just unfold a hand like this. Let's just move with the bigger bits. Let's cut the legs off. So that looks good. Add a cut there. We are also going to cut the soles of the feet off. So we want to go all the way around. Here. I'm going to click cut. There we go, we've got our seams, we've cut the feet off. Now at the moment, the legs don't have anything to sort of, imagine they're a cylinder now, you want to unfold them. Well, obviously you need some sort of cut to be able to unfold them. So let's go for something like this from up there, follow the line down, double click. That could work well, so we click cut. There we go, so we're starting to sort of build up our pattern of patches here at the moment. So at the moment the body has got nowhere to go at the moment, so it's just a tube at the moment. So let's create a cut here, I think, in the middle, so it's got somewhere to unfold, and we're going to want to have a cut down the back as well. So from the top edge, let's see, we'll meet this here, and you can always edit this as you go. So we just want to, you can see we're sort of slowly sort of cutting this thing apart. I mean, what we can do now, I'm just going to click save, is we can go to UVs, we can select all these. I'm just going to turn off symmetry again. You don't need to, and now let's unfold this. So modify, unfold, see what we get. There you go. So you've got all the bits of the bodies already, like a sort of patchwork pattern, already looking quite good here. So I'm just going to deselect. They're overlapping at the moment. So what you can do is you can just select modify and then layout. Oops, sorry. What we need to do is select them all, modify, and then layout, and it sort of distributes them. Now you've got a square here. You've got your 0 to 1 space. We need to pack everything into this square. You can see it, square here, 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 here. You can have multiple UV sets, but we're definitely not going to get into that here. It's not needed at all. So we start to pack these things in, and it's okay as a base, but sometimes it's better to lay out the things as you want, a bit more uniformly and a bit more easy to understand. So at the moment we've got the head, we've got the legs, which are looking good, the body's looking good. The hands, obviously, we need to sort those out. So let's do another save, and And what I'm going to show you quickly is you click this little button here. It's a checker. What it does is it puts a little checker pattern on everything, and it gives you an indication. You can see where things are stretched or not working. So you can see in the hands, they look terrible at the moment because they're just really stretched across the fingers. So it just gives you a quick indication of if things are working. You want to be aiming for sort of, sort of same size checkered squares all over, and sort of not too much stretching and squashing. So this is looking pretty good at the moment. We've got an even distribution of the UV. So I'm just going to turn off the checker there for the moment so we can see it a bit easier. Now let's sort these hands out. So we want to cut these open. So let's maybe turn the symmetry back on so it does this. And let's go for an edge all the way across here. Now we don't want to select any of these, so I'm going to deselect those. Let's zoom in here. So we're going to cut the hand open here perhaps, or on the palm. Let's see how that could work. Yeah, that could be okay. So let's just, now we need to follow this around. So if I double select these, click these to go, and we want to just lead it back up to the hand because it's got to end somewhere. So that could work. We've accidentally selected another edge there. I'm going to delete that. You can go into 4 to just check wireframe. You hit the 4 key, and that looks pretty good. So let's cut that. And as you can see, it's made those cuts in there because at the moment they're just sort of big circles because they're not unwrapped. Great, now let's go back in and unfold our hands. So I'm going to select the UVs here. I'm going to select UV shells, and because it's got symmetry on it, so it does select them both. Oh, let me just let me just turn that off for now. It doesn't really like that. So what I'm going to do is go to UV shell. I'm going to move this away a bit, and I'm going to unfold it. There you go, and you can see that's got the hands in there now. Same here with this one. We're going to UV shell, move this away a bit, and then we're going to unfold. There you go, and the sort of two layers are overlapping at the moment, so then we want to select the UV shell and just move that away. And there, you can see now we've unfolded the top and the bottom of the hands, so now we can paint the fingernails or anything you want really. So let's control key, always get them mixed up, and just move it away. There we go. We've sort of unfolded everything now, and let's let's tidy this up. I mean, we want this easier to paint. Oh, and as you can see here, we've actually this is the bottom of the feet, and we've accidentally not selected one of the edges, so we need to cut that. Let's cut. And likewise on the other side. So we need to cut, I want to cut these off. Cut. And now you can just move these away. So let's select the UVs, go to UV shell. There we go. And I just want to show you, you can actually, let's see, you can get the select the whole UVs in one go. So you've got the select UV tool, but you've also got let me just see if I can find it. You've got you've got the tools up here, tools, move UV shell, so you can just sort of select the whole thing. There we go. You just select one, click, and it's done. So let's start neatening this up now. Let me just do that's the bottom of the feet. They're looking a bit small, so I'm just going to select everything one last time and do a modify layout. There you go, and it distributes everything to the correct size. So now we want to fill up the space as much as we can. The more resolution you get in, the higher resolution your texture painting will be. But it's a bit difficult to follow like this. So let's see, what is this bit? This is just going to see, so that's the mouth bag. So this can be a little bit smaller. So let's select these. I'm going to go to UVs, to UV shell. Let's move that out the way and just shrink it down a bit. And I'm just going to lay things out as I want, so it makes it easier for us to paint. I'm going to go to UV shell. Let's move this up here. Rotate it a little bit. Okay. Let's see, let's just start sort of moving these around where, you know, where we want to go. And there's another thing there. See, I clicked right shell. You've got this option to go UV shell. It's the same as clicking the other tool, really, but this can be a bit quicker, I suppose. Yeah, it's actually better. You know, you can just click on a shell and just move it as you want it. So let's start rearranging this out. Rotate this into place. And it's good to maybe put the things next to each other, the two legs. You don't have to. I mean, it really depends on the best fitting here. So we've got both arms. Let's put them together so we can see them together. Do it this way. And you've got one of the hands there. It's good to get the hands together, isn't it? So we can paint them. So let's move this over, this over. There we go. And these are the feet down here. The base of the feet. And you're not really going to see these because they're going to be inside the shoes as well. Okay, it's looking good. Let's bring the mouth bag back. Just put that in the corner. Okay. And I'm just sort of distributing. I want to get them just off the edge of the borders a little bit, really. It does help with painting later. Let's see, maybe the hands would be better up here. Let's just see, we can see what we're selecting here. So that's the bottom of the hand, the top of the hand, you can see it getting highlighted here. And then the top on the bottom, the face. And there we go. So you've got both legs, that looks good. I'm going to select both of these and I'm going to do a modify optimize just to get a bit more even distribution, and that looks pretty good. That is your first UV layout. It's packed into. Oh, this one is just poking out the side there. You need to be careful with that. Let's just zoom in just to check. See, there's our edge, and we just want it not poking out. Everything's not in the edge. Maybe we could get away with moving this over a little bit more. You know, you can scale them up as well. And that's pretty good. There you go, that's our first UV layout. So if we go into here, we hit the checkered button. Now you can see there is sort of, you know, quite an even distribution of squares all over it, really. Yeah, that's looking good. That's going to be fine for what we want. And the beauty with this as well, turn this off, is, let me just turn the checkered off. So we can see there, and I'm going to hit save. Now the good thing about this as well, it shows you your topology layer. You can hit the 3 key and look at it in smooth as well. But later on, we're probably going to make this res higher resolution anyway with the smooth. So if I just demonstrate that, I'll just save this first. If you go up to mesh and then smooth, we get a lot more polygons. So I've subdivided everything by 1. So when we go to animate it or rig it, we'll probably add these more subdivisions in anyway. I mean, you can obviously work with the 3 key on, but it does need a bit more resolution for rigging later. So, but as you can see, it doesn't affect our UV layout. It just accepts it and doesn't ruin anything. You see, brilliant. I'm just going to undo the smoothing, and there we go, back to where we are. So you've done your first UV layout there. I hope that really helps. And next we're going to move on to UVing all the clothes and the shoes and everything. So if you've got value out of this so far, if you could hit subscribe, that would be awesome. And we'll see you in the next video.